In 2014, the Property Casualty Insurers Association of America, or PCI, supported several bills that require transportation network companies to have adequate insurance coverage. And at this year's annual meeting, Senior Vice President Paul Bloom, as well as Vice President of State Government Relations, talks to us about what last year's battles were like.
Insurance companies, PCI members specifically, are strong proponents of innovation. We do not want to be looked at as an impediment to innovation. So the ride-sharing economy, the sharing economy in its own right, is very exciting to PCI and its members. What we want to ensure is not only the safety of the passenger, the driver, and the public, but also we want to ensure that product certainty of insurance products are protected. We want to have the ability to include an exclusion on personal private passenger auto insurance if we want to. We want there to be an ability for commercial or personal lines riders to write the coverage. And so our goal is not to be an impediment, which we're not being, and our goal is to provide for protecting the customer, protecting the driver, protecting the passenger, protecting the public, and protecting product certainty.
Yeah, last October, no one knew about ride sharing, the idea of a transportation network company. It was language we just didn't have. And then beginning in January, suddenly Colorado became ground zero for ride sharing legislation, and Arizona was quickly on its heels. And just because of the speed and the pace of the Colorado legislative session, we were quickly trying to gather coalition members, try and understand the issue, the impacts on insurance company. It was kind of like building a car while driving down the interstate at 85 miles an hour. But really, with all of that, at the end of the day in Colorado, we were able to come up with some good compromise legislation that still protected the personal auto policy and allowed innovation. In Arizona, we saw legislation come down the pike that would not have done that. It would not have protected the insurance policy. Ultimately, that legislation was vetoed by Governor Brewer. We are going to see that legislation come back in Arizona and the vast majority of states. So while in 2014 we saw ride sharing in a few states really breaking ground, Colorado, California, Arizona, in 2015 we're anticipating rideshare legislation in a vast majority of the states.
So where are we headed in 2015? PCI's policy expert Bob Passmore gives us some insights.
Well, following California's lead, we expect that many states and municipalities will consider legislation and regulation that deals with transportation network companies. We've been working with policymakers across the country on these issues to help distinguish between the commercial and personal use of a motor vehicle. For 2015, we expect that these conversations are going to continue really across the country, and we look forward to continuing to advance solutions that help protect the interest of drivers, of passengers, and insurance policyholders while supporting innovation.